Good morning and good afternoon to all of our attendees. Thank you for joining today's Family Office Network's webinar series, Shaping the Future of Banking. Before we get started with our presentation, I would like to take a minute to introduce our speakers today. Angela Gorin, Team Captain and CEO, is joining us. Angela is a serial entrepreneur, executive leader, and professional athlete. Angela formerly founded and operated a successful social enterprise that gave back to youth and community programs across Canada to over 40 universities and 10,000 plus schools with the help of fun-loving socks. With over 15 years spent between amateur to elite levels of athletics in the sports of rowing, triathlon, and currently cycling, Angela was on the national rowing team in the 2004 Olympics. Angela is the founder of TAPanGO Technologies, a unique company specializing in an innovation of disruptive fintech and insurtech with an AI marketplace that is technology focused. Jim Anderson is also joining us today. Jim is an executive who led a diverse international career with MetLife over 24 years, including 12 in CFO positions. He successfully managed the change through global expansion, M&A, integration of acquired operations, establishing new lines of business, and adopting new bases of accounting. He is co-owner and advisor to the original Mapleback Corporation. Lastly, Andrea Connor is also joining us today. Andrea has a degree in interactive media design with 5+ years experience in the field of graphic design. She specializes in the user experience and the user interface design with a focus on customer experience to create a user-friendly product, websites, and mobile applications. At the end of today's presentation, we will have plenty of time for Q&A, and we really encourage your questions. Please use your questions chat option on the right side of your screen to submit all questions over so we can answer them accordingly. Angela, I'm going to let you get started.
All right, thanks so much, Lindsay. Much appreciated for the great intros. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those that are joining from all over the world. My name, as Lindsay noted, is Angela Gorin. I'm the proud founder of TAPanGO Technologies, which you're going to learn about as we move forward. But first and foremost, I always like to start when we pitch our presentations to newcomers in the sense of a little bit about my background. So obviously you learned that my former background was an elite athlete for Canada, representing the national rowing team in 2004 in the Olympics in Athens. And then after that, I got heavily involved in cycling, which puts a lot of passion to exactly what you're going to learn with TAPanGO and our first flagship program that we're going to market with, which is Athletica Rewards. Aside from that, I spent a lot of time, as she noted, doing consulting in the areas where I give back to mentorship for other small businesses and work with some of the accelerators and incubators in Ottawa, Ontario, which is where we are headquartered. So there's lots of things that I absolutely love to do. This is my third startup. Noted, obviously, the first one was a social enterprise that gave back to youth, and secondary working in the on-demand service as a software space for beauty services. But without further ado, in a world where transactions are happening every second with millions of people, the day of traditional banking and insurance is behind us, and the era of instant mobile payments and niche banking is now upon us. At TAPanGO, we are ready to, no pun intended or pun intended, to tap into the space and offer not just any financial and insurance solution, but one of the only vertically focused on-demand neobanks with our own marketplace technology. You know how there's a niche for everything? For example, a passionate community of people who like sports, such as myself, cycling, there's skiing, running, looking at small businesses, entrepreneurs, students. This is what TAPanGO Technologies is. In every niche, there is a passionate community of people who love to spend. Wouldn't you agree? There are also merchants and brands who love to build a relationship and efficiently acquire these customers. At TAPanGO, we make it easy to connect the customers and brands in a closed loop marketplace of spending, cashback rewards, and protection on the items they purchase and themselves. When was the last time you pulled out your wallet and purchased somewhere? Think about this. Was it this morning? Was it last night? Have you purchased from this merchant before? If so, do you know how much it costs to transaction with that merchant? And how much was the cost to you, the person that pulled out your card? We are creating the closed loop marketplace of instant cash back and rewards to efficiently and effectively connect customers, merchants, and organizations that are aligned and feel they are part of that niche community. For some people, it's golfing. For others, it's cycling. For others, it's their business. Our purpose is to help people extend their dollar and keep it seamlessly revolving within the community so that everyone within the community, merchants, brands, and customers, win. Essentially, we help reduce transaction and marketing costs for the merchants and brands as well as our customers. We help people afford the sports and the lifestyles they love and extend their dollar with a closed loop marketplace to efficiently connect customers and brands. Brands love it because it helps reduce their cost to acquire customers and increases their lifetime value. And this is how we do it. It's very simple. I'm going to take Triathlon Tracy as one of our sample markets, our sample profiles. So if you look at step 1 to step 7, this is how our technology between marketplace and payments connects. So within a seamlessly integrated application, within 3 minutes, Triathlon Tracy has the ability in step 1 to go in and sign up, whether it's on her desktop or mobile, and get going with getting her e-wallet set up. The second step, once going through verification, is that right away Triathlon Tracy, once approved, will be able to transaction using her mobile wallet and know that within 3 to 5 business days, her issued card will be coming to her in the mail. The neat part for Triathlon Tracy is if she's not wanting to load that wallet with cash or capital, she can actually link other existing bank accounts and or credit cards that she chooses to start to make payments to the brands that she absolutely loves and she wants to get rewards cash back to be able to put that towards future purchases or savings that she has. So in this step 3, Triathlon Tracy is wanting to buy a very nice new pair of Oakley sunglasses. So it's very simple for her to go right onto oakley.com or oakley.ca, depending on whether she lives in Canada or the US, and go through that transaction process. The merchant is the acquirer, so takes the full purchase of that transaction, which is step 4, and that payment then comes through to them, the merchant, of which we at Athletica Rewards have the direct relationship with the merchant. It's through that sale that we actually earn our rewards cash back that we can share with our members and split that. So right away, Triathlon Tracy already knows how much she's earning, and we know as well how much we're earning from a commission with that merchant we've developed the relationship with in that closed loop marketplace. And that's how simple it is. Step 7 is that cash back and that share. We pride ourselves in going to market with being one of the first and strongest in giving the largest amount of cash back compared to all of the other cash back programs that we know of in North America. Of course, it's important to understand how will TAPanGO make money with our different verticals, the first one being Athletica Rewards. We're going to focus on the short-term verticals of what and how we're going to make our revenue. Obviously, at this stage, you already know the most important piece is our rewards marketplace. This is where a majority of our projections and our cash flow are going to come from. This is where, again, Triathlon Tracy, if we go back to the last slide, she makes that transaction with Oakley in that example, where we make some commission from that sale in that acquired audience space. And same thing, Triathlon Tracy makes a little bit of cash back as well. That continues. The second piece is we have both a freemium and a premium membership offering for Triathlon Tracy and other members to sign up. The freemium obviously is exactly what it sounds like. It's free. But from that marketplace, we will actually earn and retain a larger amount of cash back when an acquisition takes place. The second, the premium, is where there'll be an ARR, an annual reoccurring revenue, or a monthly reoccurring revenue, MRR, from our members. And with that, the premium members, they will get more cash back from the acquiring customers that we have, our merchants that we have in our marketplace, as well as they'll get great incentives for early bird registrations, they'll get bonuses, they'll get new things that are coming out in the marketplace from brands that might not be yet available to other customers. The other is, of course, interchange and e-wallet fees that we'll be able to move through working with our bank sponsors. And last but not least, white label products. Our long-term vision as we move forward, this is 6 months moving onwards, is bespoke insurance products that will be offered. So our InsurTech piece will come in at a later stage with TAPanGo's programs. And this is what's really truly unique about our neobank, is the ability to offer across North America licensed insurance products and programs into our different verticals. And using Athletica as a good example in Triathlon Tracy, if Triathlon Tracy purchases a nice new bike, which we know these days they're not cheap, she can actually right away, eventually, be able to buy the right protection for that new property or that piece of gear that she just purchased. It's as simple as that. For us, our insurance programs are not going to be about selling. They're going to be about educating our customers to truly buy the right insurance products for their means. Number 6, profit sharing with our partners. This is where it gets truly unique, and you'll see this on the next slide. What we've done is we've built out great relationships with partnerships, whether it's through organizations and associations that are relative to our markets. And with that being said, we have the ability to offer to their existing members a way to share the profit to access that larger group of members. 7, microlending and other products. Of course, being a neobank and working with our bank sponsors, there's great ways that we can look forward and have a future with doing great programs like microlending. So many of us know already there's some great companies out there that are supporting some of the fit tech and health tech wearable space where people can pay a month by month and have some microlending services. We look forward to going into that space and being able to support our membership as it grows with our bank sponsors. More importantly, if we're going to make revenue, how are we going to do it? How are we going to go to market? This is really the meat of what we're doing for the next 3 to 6 months as we go to market with our viral growth mechanics. Our most important piece is, just like I said, was the associations and the partners. This gives us the ability to create those relationships with already existing entities that have membership. So a good example here would be our relationship with USA Triathlon, where they've got over 300,000 active triathletes right across the US that, as we know, are obviously spending money on the sport and the lifestyle that they love. And right now, as we know, the last 18 months has been exceptionally hard within the space of sport as we see events being canceled and memberships having to be postponed until the next year. It's no better time than right now to be able to work with some of these organizations to not only support them to get their feet back on the ground and make a new line of revenue, but to also support their members to get back into the sports that they absolutely love. This for us leads to the next real key ingredient for us is the ambassador and elite members of our community. Being somebody who was a former professional athlete, I became very passionate about being able to create a program, not an affiliate marketplace, but a program inside our own programs to be able to address the need to support our amateur athletes as we start to go back to the market. And this is where it's really interesting, where you start to see the ability, like myself, I go back to 2004 when I had lots of brands that were sponsoring me, but I was collecting, whether it be 10 pairs of sunglasses and running shoes. And at that day, I wish that e-commerce was a solution that we could use, but I was selling these items to friends and family right out of my door to be able to make rent. Well, with our neobank, these athletes are now going to be able to not only bank and have an actual account no matter where they go and where they travel, they're also going to be able to relate to the brands that are sponsoring them. The brands are going to be able to see how they're making reach to their audience, their fans and followers. And at the same time, the athlete's going to be able to make a little bit of pay for the work that they're doing, no matter where they are, which is great. They can spend more time on their sport and promote the brands that they're passionate about and give back. This is what really then drives, is the refer and earn. So not only can the amateur athletes refer and earn, but we've also got our associations and partners. And then last but not least, the membership. So of course, there's nothing better than word of mouth marketing. And we know this, we know the stats now, and we're excited to see this. For me, it's always about going on the group ride. I'm visiting family right now on Vancouver Island in the west coast of Canada. And I was already out on a group ride the other day with new people I'd never met, and was able to already encourage people to look at Athletica Rewards website and learn a little bit about Tap and Go. Right away, people are already interested in signing in and signing up because it's coming from somebody they trust and they know love sports. So this is a great way for us to get out there. And better than that, we've done our research and started to really understand the competitive landscape of what other neobanks and challenger banks are out there. When looking at Coho or Mogo here in Canada, or Chime, or Nubank, or Revolut, some of the bigger names that we are well aware of, it became distinctly obvious that the one thing that they were missing was this marketplace. It was the niche community. It was, how do we get to customers? And right away, it was not just about transactioning, because let's face it, we transaction every day. It's not sexy, it doesn't work. But if there's a way that you can draw somebody back to a community, if you can gamify, you can encourage and engage with that marketplace and offer more value, that's going to get people back. We didn't want to have people just sign in and sign up and have that one size shoe fits everybody mentality to our market. We truly want our members to sign up and want to continue to come back and not only transaction, but relate and make use. So this is where we're going to have some great functions and features. One of them particularly that we've learned from doing a lot of R&D within the market is the early bird registrations and moving forward on wait lists. So especially with sports and events, and we know that this is going to come back in 2022 as we emerge from the pandemic, but we know that the early bird registrations and being able to offer this to our members is something that they're very attracted to, and learning about the events that are happening in live time and how they can support these event directors to get back going. At this stage, you already know that there's something that's very unique about Tap and Go technologies when it comes to being a vertical niche focused neobank. But there's some other really differentiators for us that I want to share with you of what else makes Tap and Go unique. For us, it's really important for our investors and our members and our merchants to understand that we are a closed loop cashback rewards program. By that, it means, again, that's that niche community, that fit. The brands that market to the audience are authentic, they're targeted. For that, we know that there's going to be a larger user uptake and there's going to be a want. Our members are not going to be marketed with materials or services or products that are not of interest, and vice versa. The merchants and the associations are not going to be marketing to an audience that is not going to have interest. This is very key to our market. The other neat feature, which is also something that some of the neobanks are already doing out there, is the budgeting or the savings envelopes. We've heard of this, but we wanted to go one step further and offer a better engagement or a better tool for our members. And that's by truly authenticating, again, the actual item that they're saving up for. We know as people, we're goal oriented. If we just want to save money and put it in an account, it's way too easy to take that money out. And we've seen that. But if you're actually saving up for whether it's maybe a big event that you want to take part in next year, like an Ironman or a marathon with your friends, maybe it's buying a new bike, maybe it's saving up for a trip with your partner or your family. For us, it's really about creating savings envelopes, and we can connect you directly with the brand that you're saving for that goal. So that's what makes it a little bit more sticky, a little bit more engaging, and something for our members to look forward to. The other piece, which you've also learned, is the internal ambassador program. So really welcoming in those audiences, especially for Athletica Rewards, the amateur athletes. And no better time than right now as we watch the Olympic and Paralympic Games come to an end, and know that coming this winter, we've got the 2022 Winter Games ahead of us. So supporting these athletes and hearing their stories and being able to welcome them inside our own application and not outsourcing that is really key to us allowing fans and followers to make and be a part of the membership in the community and be connected to these athletes. One of the other neat distinctions is that our neobank is going to be available with our bank sponsors in both Canada and the US. It was one of the major things that we started to look at as we moved forward was how can we differentiate ourselves and offer something that truly is cross-border? And knowing that a lot of Canadians travel in the States and a lot of the US travels into Canada, we thought it was very important for our product and our program to be able to come out across North America to begin with. This is one of the first Canadian companies to do this with our bank sponsor, which we are very excited about. And last but not least, this makes me very proud. I am the first female founder of a neobank in Canada and one of the first 5 in North America. To give you a good idea of where we're going and how we're going to grow out, obviously our most important is phase 1, which is right around the corner, is Canada and the US. Obviously, we do have global expansion in sight. And the best part is we're lined up to successfully roll these out because a lot of the merchants and organizations that we have in our pipeline are international. So whether it be the Oakleys or the Mizunus or the Ironmans as events, we already know these are global. But for us, we want to look at the timeline and look at what we're able to deliver. So for now, we're staying close to home, focusing on North America, and we're going to do a very good job at getting out to this market before we move forward. And this is the purpose of why we're here today. We're raising $3 million, post value $11 million, that's our ask, and we're ready to get going. We're 95% done our technology. We have our bank sponsors lined up. Our processors are ready to go. That last 5% is really the integration of all of the technologies to be able to go to market and then be able to obviously onboard some new staff and be able to work to get out to market with some of our great campaigns and our marketing strategies for 2022. It's our goal right now, and I always say this to those that I'm talking to, I always make that analogy of we've got the plane fully built, it's on the tarmac, we've got customers and members waiting to board that plane, the tank's half full, and we just need that last half tank to get up in the sky, and we'll be ready to go and deliver to the rest of the market in the world with what we've got lined up for 2022. I really appreciate everybody's time today and listening, and I'm really excited to go through some of the Q&A and answer some of those questions that you have and introduce you again to Jim and Andrea, who were introduced at the start of today's presentation. Lindsay, over to you.
Angela, thank you so much for that high-level overview. That was a great job. Yes, jumping into Q&A, again, we really encourage your questions, so please using that questions chat option on the right side of your screen to send over all questions. I'm just going to jump right in. We do have quite a bit of questions that have already come through, so I'm really excited about that. But first, we're going to talk about money, right? Everyone loves to talk about that. So first question, how will you guys make money, and what is the revenue model here?
Jim, do you want to take that, seeing I just spoke?
I can take that. I think fair enough. Angela touched that in the presentation, I think, and I'll just perhaps dive a little deeper. Let me just get myself sorted.
We went over the short-term and the long-term revenue models where it came to the rewards marketplace, and we spoke about our premium.
No, I know. I just grabbed something I didn't want to look at. First, the question was how will we make money, correct?
Yes, Jim. Let's start there. Perfect.
Very good. Very good. Well, members drive revenue. So our first order of business is to bring in the members. And as Angela mentioned, the largest way we're going to do that quickly is through use of other groups that already have large memberships. In fact, we've got some agreements already in place, or letters of intent with organizations with large numbers of members that are interested in the athletics space. So they're definitely our target market, and we believe we will get good traction reaching out to them. We obviously will use the regular means of SEO, etc. But really it's getting in and touching the members that are our true target. We're not just doing a blunderbuss look at everyone. And then once there, we will keep them engaged, because what we are delivering to them is products that they are interested. They will come to this site to find product. We're not interested in hard sell. With athletes in particular, they would much rather be out on the trail riding their bike, or on the road riding their bike, or cycling, or cycling down a mountain, or whatever they're up to, and spending less time looking for things online. And I'm sure everybody's had experience with. It seems to take longer and longer to find exactly what you're looking for, even though there's more and more available. So we want to bring the items they want to them. So once they made a purchase, the merchants will provide us with a reward fee, and we will split that reward fee. Let's use 15% as an example. If the merchant gives us 15% on a purchase, so they get to advertise, they get to present themselves on our site for free. But once a purchase is made, they will pay us a reward fee for a successful sale. So that reward fee is 15%. We would give 5%, for example, to a freemium member, and 10% if the member had a premium membership, and we would keep the other piece. Of that, if we had detained that member through an association or other partner, we would give a piece of the amount that we retained to that organization, which encourages them to be there and to help us grow. In some instances, that will be for the first year only, and there may be other agreements as we go along. The upgrade to premium, Angela covered that there will be a small monthly charge or annual fee to upgrade to a premium membership, which would get you the extra rewards along with other perks and benefits that Angela discussed. When I do modeling, I tend to make that revenue neutral so that the amount that it costs the member is the amount that they otherwise would spend, because that's, all things equal, if there are no other perks, that is how someone would approach the transaction. The interchange fees, etc., will not play as large a part in the early days as we build up. In fact, in this group, again, some people may use another card in which to make the purchase, in which we will not get the interchange fees. But that is fine, because we will get the rewards fees, and that will drive us forward. With other verticals, the membership might be more inclined to use it, and we'll see. I believe over time we will see greater use of the cards, of our card, as people get used to it and like the convenience of it. That is the main pieces at the early stage. There are other sources Angela touched on. We have opportunities to white label or co-brand cards for associations, for stadiums, and for events and whatnot. That will come a little later. The insurance piece will come later once we've got an appropriate membership. It will be conducted out of a separate company that is licensed, that has a licensed agent or broker, in order that we can get full commissions. Because if you are not licensed, you can get small fees in some instances, and in some states you can't get anything. It requires a license. So that's why that's a little more complicated. It's going to come a little later, but we think by tailoring products to this membership, we can grow that side over the long run also. And that's a long response.
Thanks, Jim. No, I appreciate it. Now let's talk a little bit about valuation. Can you guys give us a little bit more detail on that, and how did you arrive there at that number?
Sure. The valuation, I've done several models using memberships at various levels to see what the strains are on our model. And I used, in coming up with the valuation, I modeled out Athletica along with corporate expenses. So basically it's Athletica plus the overhead. And I took it out 10 quarters. There's a quarter zero, then 10 further quarters. And I took the present value of a model that has a rather limited expectation for members, a rather conservative expectation for members. I took it back at the present value of EBITDA using a discount rate of 30%. up to quarter 10, and then held quarter 10's EBITDA flat and brought it back at 30% in perpetuity, which obviously is not what we would expect. We would expect to keep growing, but that is how the value came, and that gave me a value which I then added another 50% on for the other programs, which is conservative for them, but it enables us to push the timeline out on when they would come in. So that is how it is done. In addition to that, we have a target model which comes to a present value which is actually 5 times higher than that, and that is what we are going to push ourselves to do. But that is not what I based the valuation on. We're pre-revenue. Let's prove it, and then we'll ratchet it up from there.
Great, and let's talk about the ask here today, right? So what is the amount that you guys are looking to raise? And if you can give us a little bit of detail on once you raise that money, how are you going to be utilizing it?
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want me to take that one, Jim?
If you'd like, I can chime in and we'll go from there.
We can work together on this one. So yeah, no, absolutely, and everybody that's listening, we're looking to raise 3 million Canadian, and as Jim just noted, we're being very conservative in our ask as we want to get to market and get to proving market validation with those that we have in our pipeline. So being very smart at this stage of the company. So for us, out of the 3 million, again, like obviously you can't really list exactly what the dollar amounts is, but first and foremost, we do have the integration fees that are required with our bank sponsors, as well as our processors and the tech that we've got. So there's going to be the integration costs that are required on that side, what we have to pay to the bank sponsors for the licenses. Those are some upfront that we need to do. And in fact, we actually need to do those by the end of October. For anybody that knows the fintech or the bank space, they do have a blackout period from November through to January. So for us, we are in a big push for the seed round to close in the next 45 to 60 days. But that's kind of the first preliminary amount. Of course, marketing is very key. So for us, we've got some campaigns and marketing strategies, which went over in the presentation, but really, taking a good third of the amount that comes in and allocating that to the campaigns and the marketing strategy, hiring some of the people behind the development of the marketing, and then the rest, obviously, getting good sales force in. We've got close to 300 to 350 merchants in our pipeline that we have to onboard, get signed in and signed up. And there's more that come every week. Like every week now, we do have out of just cold and warm reach merchants that are coming to come onto the platform because it's free. So that's really where the capital's going. I don't know, Jim, if I missed anything there, but hopefully that.
Yeah, and I would just add that again, we've modeled different scenarios. There's not hard and fast amounts necessarily to a marketing. We're going to make sure things work before we continue to spend it. And if it's working well, we will ramp it up. So under those two models I mentioned, one is cash flow positive after 18 months, and the other after about 9. The target after about 9, and the amounts that are burned vary depending on how we're going. But when we start growing at a rapid rate, the gross burn will get larger, which is a good thing. Your expenses are going up, but our bottom line will be positive, and we will be making money.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's exciting for us too. I always add, because a lot of the investors that we've been pitching in the last few weeks is from a marketing, being very smart. Obviously, there is the ability for us to lean on at this stage the support once we've raised capital, some of the Canadian government grants that are out there to hire, where they are offering up to 50% wage subsidy programs. The other unique feature, and I don't bring it up at the beginning, but I am still an elite athlete. For those that have checked me out or Googled, I'm in my final year as a UCI pro, and my team's been very supportive, and my current shareholders since the pandemic started, and it did put a lot of events aside, but I will be going after the UCI 1-hour indoor cycling world record in the spring of 2022, which will be internationally televised through various omni-channels. And we've actually got a docudrama series that's coming out that's separate, but of course, great marketing for Athletic Rewards for TAPanGO's first flagship program on Amazon Prime, Apple TV Plus, NBC has just picked it up, as well as ESPNW and Comcast. So that's free leveraging and free marketing. I always joke and say I definitely plan on, I am retiring as a professional athlete after this, but we might as well utilize the resources, and the timing works out to be perfect for that. So there's some really neat things that we've got planned to stay lean and mean, and to utilize the capital that comes into the best of its abilities. And as Jim noted, be smart to make sure that we're putting it towards good use and getting to market and acquiring customers and getting to revenue.
Thank you so much. Now, we did bring up a lot of things about marketing in that kind of answer. So is there anything on top of, cycling and kind of being in the media, right? Sounds like for you, which is so fantastic. Congratulations to you on that. Is there anything else marketing wise that you guys would like to point out to everyone on the call today? What the plan would be?
The plan, yeah. No, well, obviously there's that one unique feature of being able to go out and having the marketing that's there. We've already done, as you can see, a lot of branding. We worked with an incredible team out of Toronto, out of Canada, on the Athletica branding guide. So we're ready to go from the marketing angle with our branding. But better than that, it's really about our social campaigns and our reach through our amateur athletes and the affiliate market. So one of the major partners that we are just in the process of signing with, they are a processor that we're going to be working with, but they themselves have actually launched a partnership with an affiliate marketplace that can bring us a lot of distinct affiliates that can help us with getting the word out. So with that also comes a lot of the merchants that are part of that processor's backend, because that's what they do. They help set up the merchant terminals and the purchase POS system. So it's a really neat leverage for us to be able to start to go out and work with those organizations. And I think I did mention it, Lindsay, in the presentation, is what makes us distinct and truly different is not going out and being everything, right? We are that one size shoe fits, in the sense of, like, I call it the Cinderella syndrome, like that glass slipper fits. And it's the same with our merchants and our organizations. So taking USA Triathlon or USA Cycling or Ironman, for those that are in the sports world, we know what the audience is. We know the merchants that are going to be interested in that space. And the best part is those organizations right now are literally sitting down and looking at how can we make up for lost revenue the last 2 years. We know that Ironman World Championships, which were supposed to happen this fall on October the 9th, close contacts with Andrew Mesnick, the CEO there. And that's one of the major organizations that we are wanting to work with, and they are wanting to work with us to the point where they want to embed the Athletica Rewards wallet inside the Ironman app. So now with them moving it to February 5th, that is one of our goals as a main partner, to be able to go out. And of course for them, that's marketing, right? So we're really going to be working with some of those organizations and associations to create the story, and for them to actually take the time to do the marketing into their membership, which is great for us because it lowers our cost, but it's also great for them because it's adding revenue and a value add to their existing members. So that's a little different than any of the other neobanks or challenger banks that are out there, because they don't have their marketplace technology. They haven't built what we've got.
Right. Thank you so much. Let's talk now a little bit about development, right? So is there a lot left to do before you guys launch, or tell us where you're at there?
Well, I'll start, and then I'm going to pass it over to Andrea a little bit on that, because she can let you guys know about what we've been building in the sense of the UX UI and the software that we're using. But again, we're 95% finished the tech. The marketplace is there. It's waiting to be integrated with our processors and our bank sponsors. Obviously, like any technology, there's always ongoing development that is required. And for us, it's really that final touch, so that last 5%. To pay off that fee that needs to be done to integrate all of those three parties to actually make a full functioning neobank work. But perhaps maybe Andrea, if you want to give an overview a little bit behind the software that we're using and what applications that the programs are going to be available on, that would give a good heads up to the audience.
Yeah, so you pretty well covered it. Like, we're pretty close to all the development that needs to be complete before launching. We have a few interfaces that are involved. So the ambassador admin is one of the remaining items on the development list, as well as some of the e-wallet features and just the simple integration of the e-wallet with our with the other partnerships for the card linking and our bank sponsors. And pretty well the last thing that is on the list would be the final development of the mobile applications, which is available on iOS and Android. So with that, members and merchants can log in online as well as then download the app. So we have all those available on the list.
Great. Thanks, Andrea. So you brought up merchants, right? So how many merchants and members have you guys signed up in your marketplace already?
Yeah, no, so for sure. So we've got as of right now in our pipeline, and I'd say anywhere between 300 to 350 in the pipeline. Again, I always kind of put the chicken before the egg scenario, right? So we've been working at this for the last couple of years and really been developing those networks. So you didn't want to onboard too many merchants and then have them sit there and kind of wonder when the heck we're going to be launching. So for us, it's been creating and curating those relationships and adding more to the pipeline. So every week, you know, give or take, we're getting 5 to 6 new requests just organically, which is fantastic. So adding those into the pipeline, there's new brands. And of course, unfortunately, we've seen some of them have to stop due to the pandemic. So it's for us, it's really keeping that relationship there. But that's how many we've got waiting to be ready to go to market. At the same point in time, that partnership that I was mentioning earlier, that is one of our processors that works with thousands of merchants globally. We're going to be able to access those and actually choose the specific merchants that would fit the marketplace that we're wanting to go to market with the Athletica lifestyle. So that being said, you know, we're excited to definitely get ready to onboard a lot of merchants pre-launch for January 1st. That's our goal of Q1 2022, which of course January is a great month for health and wellness. We know that's where a lot of users and people are gearing up, and hopefully we see a very different 2022 than we have had the last 2 years for sure, for the sport and lifestyle and events and gyms being able to open again. But that gives you a little bit of idea. From the membership side, obviously from an intent or an interest, if you look at the stats, and I know Jim has a projection, our size of our market in North America is around 50 million. That's looking if you pull specifically from the health and wellness, the triathlon, the cycling, the marathon running, and that's again a very general take. We know out of some great research that came out this morning through HCM Fitness, which is a large data source that pulls national and international polls and surveys, that as of right now, 50% of the world, the globe, is wanting to put number one their health and wellness and their physical fitness. So that's a huge target when you start to think about it. It's very important. We know that we've seen the increase. You know, you can't I guess over this kind of pull. For us, it's exciting to know that we're coming at it where we can support people coming back and merchants. But as of right now, the members are waiting to sign in and sign up, where there's no distinct number because of course we haven't fully launched. So that is our next goal, and specifically looking at our numbers and our relationships, whether it be through the Ironmans and the sports stats and the Ottawa race weekends and the USA triathlons. That's where we're going to get a volume of our first coming members and our early bird registration. But that's to give you an idea, because I think it's important, you know, for us, if and when we can launch, hopefully by the end of October, and we can let the public know and go to press because we've got the capital to move forward with our bank sponsors. At that time, we are ready to launch an early bird registration for Athletica Rewards, so we can start to welcome the merchants and the members on board so that they can be on the application, so that come the Christmas holidays and come January 1st, they are ready to transaction. So that is our goal right now, and we're really hopeful that coming out of this presentation today, we've enticed some investors to come on board and help us get there.
Thank you, Angela. Great. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about competitors, right? So can you guys give us a little bit of an overview of, is there anyone similar in the industry, and what sets you apart from them?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely, obviously, if you do your research, neobanks and challenger banks are out there. We saw the likes of Robinhood was a big conversation piece, which is a fintech. You've got the Chimes, the Revoluts, the new banks. In Canada, there's 5 other neobanks. We'll be coming to market as the 6th listed neobank. But, you know, Lindsay, and again, this goes to the presentation, we are very unique and different in the space. And how? By that marketplace technology that allows AI and BI and that relation. So we're not outsourcing our rewards, our loyalty, our gamification. We've built that. We've built that community ability to allow niche verticals to be driven. And that's what makes us really different. You know, you look at Coho or Mogo here in Canada, what they've done is they've built an incredible application. They've got great savings and checkings accounts for their customers. But what happens, and this is across the bar, even if you look at Revolut that tried to come into North America and it's gone back to the UK, our new bank, they've got this huge uptake of users. But what happens after 6 to 12 months is when you go in and you check their user engagement, it's dropped. So again, it's fantastic if you've got the churn, but you got to have the churn continuing to grow and make use of it. And that's the most important part. So for us, we are set aside, and we have definitely, from all of our card linking companies that we've moved forward with and our processors, one of the biggest things that all of these companies come back, whether it's the FISs or the Galileos or PaySafe, all of them have said that we are distinctly different than any of the other fintechs that they've worked with, solely because we've built out our marketplace technology. So we're really excited that we took the time and the investment the last 2 years to build that out, because we really feel that as we go to market with our flagship program, Athletica Rewards, it's really going to differentiate ourselves as we start to roll out that program and others in the future from the other neobanks.
Great, thank you so much, Angela. Andrea, you mentioned earlier for us that the operating systems, were, I believe you said Apple and Android, right? Is there any other operating systems that you guys will support?
So for now, for those are the mobile applications that we have planned, because those are the biggest markets, of course.
Yes.
And otherwise, so we use Athletica Rewards as an example. Members and merchants will be able to log in directly at athleticarewards.com, where whether they're on their desktop, laptop, or their mobile phone. So again, that will be accessible anywhere they have an internet connection, whether they have the app or not.
Oh, great. That's awesome. Now, this may be a question for you as well, Andrea. What is the language used for the current web development?
Yeah, so right now it is being built out. The user interface is with React, which is a JavaScript free and open source library. And the back end is with C#, which is, again, a general purpose development. So it's pretty open to use language, so that we can have new development team members be able to use those languages, because they're pretty open source right now, and they're pretty popular languages for the developers.
Great, thank you, Andrea. Would your team be open for oversubscribing?
Absolutely. At this stage, if it comes down to the right investor or the right team of investors or fund, for sure. I think that's the number one thing I always like to stress at this stage. Our pre-seed round, which raised around $700,000 about 2 years ago, that for us was a lot of family and friends. What we're looking for now is specifically working with investors that have done a lot of investment in their portfolio, are they interested to get in, and this is what their market is. They might have other portfolios that are there. And for sure, if the right partner comes forward, our party, we're open for that oversubscription.
Great, and are you seeking international investors?
Yes, we actually already have a group of international investors that are out of the Emirates, in fact, as well as some that are out of the US. So as of right now, we do have an international portfolio for our pre-seed round, which is great.
That's really great. And have there been any other finances raised in other rounds, or do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I guess like for myself, I started the company, the idea actually came out of an epic bike ride that I did across Canada for kids in 2014. And from that, the idea was there because I saw a lot of need to put financial literacy and tools to support families to be able to afford an active lifestyle. That's how Athletica began. TAPanGO came at a later stage as, I got mentorship and surrounded myself with the right people. But to be honest, like at this stage, the first founding, round was really some close family and friends that came in. They believed in the idea, more so they believed in me. And that was in around 2015, 2016. And that was just to get the company going. Really the pre-seed round, our early stage round was closed in 2018. And that was where over a course of a year, we raised around $700,000 in total to put towards the development of the technology that's got us to the 95% completion that we've got today. So right. We've done pretty much 2 rounds, family and friends and an early stage round, pre-seed round.
Thank you so much. You guys have done a phenomenal job today giving us this high-level overview. I have one final question for you before we decide to wrap up here. Is it a goal of TAPanGO to do an IPO at some point?
That would be a great way to exit. at sometime. And by exit, I don't necessarily mean for us, but for investors who are more interested in early stage companies than holding on forever. But I mean, we're open to it. We're not looking to rush out and do a reverse takeover and be listed tomorrow. We want to build this company and show what it can do and go out when we can control what happens next as best you can in the stock market. So
yeah, exactly. We've already actually had the opportunity to do an RTO and SPACs, which obviously became very popular in the last, especially the last year, as we've seen across North America. But yeah, as Jim noted, I think it's really important. IPO is of interest. It's something that's on the table, and for sure in this space particularly, we see a lot of it when it comes to a later stage of the company. And we want to be able to ensure that for all shareholders and investors that they're on board and on side, should that be a choice that we do when it's right. But for now, we've got already some contracts that are waiting and great merchants and associations that are ready to see us go to market, and we want to go out there and get to revenue and be able to grow and make that decision as a team.
Great. Again, you guys done a phenomenal job today, and we thank you so much for joining us. Before we wrap up, is there anything final that you would like to add today?
Other than a huge shout out of thanks for everybody's time for joining us from wherever you are in the world. Obviously, there's that open opportunity. We're very grateful, Lindsay, to the Family Office Network. I'm so appreciative of everybody's support, and definitely we're very open. So for any of those that are tuning in and listening to today's presentation, should they wish to have a one-on-one or get another virtual set up, my team and I are here to be there to listen and answer more questions, because of course, oftentimes that's what happens. You get off the line and go, oh, I really wanted to learn this. I'm a very approachable person. I'm accessible as well as my team are on LinkedIn. But you know, that's, I think, about it. Thank you. We're really excited, and we're looking forward to hopefully seeing some investors come out of the FON network and being able to work with you as a team as we continue to go and grow. This is the exciting time. I always look forward to, I hope in the next 12 months, looking back, this is today a memory of a starting point of a really good relationship with some new investors. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Angela, Jim, and Andrea, again, it was a pleasure to have you today. My name is Lindsay. I will be following up with everyone on the webinar today. So like Angela said, if there's any additional questions, I would be more than happy to get you in direct contact with the team. We thank you so much for everyone joining us, and I hope you have a great day.
thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Bye.